Today what I want to do is a video about binders. It seems like with a lot of people, binders are just like an automatic thing, and you hear everyone say, well, it doesn't leave any flavor. The most common binders are like oil, water, mustard. I've even seen some mayonnaise recently. I don't think any of them really leave any leftover flavor. Mustard is basically water and mustard powder. Mayonnaise is a bunch of oils. What I found out is binders really don't serve the purpose everyone's using them for. You hear a lot of people say that you have to use a binder in order to get the rub to stick. I just never have really bought on to that, because if you have a pretty good piece of meat, it's gonna stick. It's already moist, especially if you rinse it off before putting your rub on, which you really should do. But I've never actually tested my theory that binders are unnecessary. I've just always cooked that way. That's what I found personally. Binders really don't help you as far as getting the rub to stick at all. To be honest with you, is kind of the opposite. It lets the rub be able to slide off. So I'm gonna put my theory to the test today, and we're gonna do a rack of ribs with a binder, the most common binder I think, which is mustard. And then we're gonna do a rack of ribs without the binder, the way that I always do them. We're gonna try to do them exactly the same, except for that one variable, the binder. We're gonna see how it turns out. We're gonna see if there's a flavor difference. We're gonna see how the rub holds up during the cook. I think it's gonna be interesting. Stick around. So as you can see, I have a pile of ribs here. And we're gonna be doing two. I have the others cooking for another event. But the first step you need to do with ribs and most barbecue meats is you need to rinse them off. If you bought your ribs frozen, give them 2 days or so to thaw out, or you can put them in a water bath for about 2 hours and they should be okay, depending on how frozen they were. I'm just gonna give them a nice rinse. Baby backs usually need a little bit of trimming. This is probably not gonna cook the same way that the rest of the rib is, which means it'll probably burn. If this end is somewhat tidy and neat, then I'll cut it on this side of the bone. But if it's not, I'll usually take the whole bone off and cut it right against the bone. In this case, I think I'm gonna just trim the excess sloppiness off here, and I think it'll be fine. Okay, same thing on the other side. I'm gonna check out my bone, and you can see the bone is from here to there. So what I'm gonna do is this side's actually not that bad. There's a little bone right here, so we're gonna cut that out. Now we're gonna do the same thing on this rack. Now you can see this end's even more sloppy than that last one, so I'm gonna cut inside the bone on this one. Okay, so when you get the knife under it like that, replace the knife with your finger. Let's see, kind of work your finger under there. See how that's going? And now we have this side and that side. I'm gonna try to pull up evenly all the way. There we go, that wasn't so bad. It's Cosmos Q Dirty Bird, good stuff. And if you hold it about 8-10 inches away from the ribs, it will usually get you a little more even coverage. Now on the underside of the ribs, you don't need to put a whole lot of rub. We're not looking to develop an incredible bark on the bones, but do make sure you hit your sides. And on the top side, a nice even coat. Try to get your sides the same amount that you get the center. And you can see already these ribs are just sucking this rub up. So being careful not to cross-contaminate with the mustard, now I'm gonna do the underside first. I'm gonna put just a bead of mustard across the center here. Now mustard is basically water and mustard powder, and it's just kind of mixed together. I'm gonna put a bead on top. I'm going to use a little bit of a heavier layer of mustard as a binder to try to make sure that any differences between the two sets of ribs really shines through. I'm going to use the same rub because I want to keep these cooks as similar as possible. Light layer on the bottom, kind of pat it in. And layer on the top. And you can see that the rub on the one with no binder is really sucking that rub up, and it's kind of, you know, taking it into the meat, and that's great, and it's only been, you know, 5 minutes. The ribs with the mustard binder on them, it's starting to kind of soak up a little bit, but not like this one. Now I'm gonna cook these ribs on the Rectech pellet grill. The Rectech's a great grill, and it has one thing very unique about it that a lot of pellet grills don't have, and that is a really big pellet hopper. It'll hold 40 pounds. That's more than enough pellets to get these ribs done, but I'm gonna go ahead and top it off just to be safe. I'm gonna top it off with these lumberjack grilling pellets. And this is 100% hickory, and I've never used the lumberjack, but I've heard great things about them. If you put 40 pounds in here, it brings it right up to the top, but it's not so high that you can't shut the lid. This is the RT680 version. The newer versions actually have Wi-Fi control, and I think they're releasing a Wi-Fi control for this one to upgrade it. To turn the grill on, you just push this power button, and it was previously set at 500 degrees. We're gonna back that down because we're gonna be cooking at 250 degrees. Cool thing about the Rectech is at 250 degrees and below, it has a feature called the extreme smoke function. And that's this button right here. You just touch that, and what that does, it gives you a little more pellets to create a little extra smoke. This is your actual internal temperature of the grill, and this is your set point. If you are cooking on a pellet grill, I suggest investing in one of these. This is a 12-inch smoker tube. You fill it with pellets, kind of keep the end that's open elevated a little bit, or you can stand it straight up, which is what I do. Light it. You want to make sure it's well lit. It's going to take about 5 minutes or so. And I just do it right out of the hopper here, because when I drop some, it really doesn't matter. This tube will last about 4 hours. This is the one with the binder, the mustard, and this is the one with no mustard. All right, so let's get our ribs on the grill. Anytime I'm cooking ribs, I spritz for the first 3 hours about every half an hour. I use 1 part apple juice, and I have kids, so I use those little juice boxes, and I think they're perfect. And then I use a half part apple cider vinegar. All right, it's been a half hour. Let's go ahead and spritz the ribs. And again, this is 1 part apple juice, a half part apple cider vinegar. Put it on like a misting setting. Then you get nice, even coverage over all the ribs. It's been 3 hours. Let's take a look at the ribs. I've been spritzing every half an hour. So what we're looking for is color. We want them to get to that nice mahogany, and I think we're there. This rack is your binder mustard ribs, and there's your naked ribs. The color's good, so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap these guys. Wrapping foil. I'm gonna have a video that compares foil versus paper, and I'll put the link up above, but you're gonna see that foil is a better cook. It just turns out a much better rib. First, let's go ahead and get some brown sugar in. Now I'm gonna put a bead of some squeezed butter. You can use real butter, it's up to you, not a big deal. Now I'm gonna put the ribs face down. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of get the foil rolled up here. And we're gonna put some apple juice, apple cider mixture, same thing as our spritz. And we're gonna fold this end in, fold that end in. Be careful now, because where the bones stick out, it'll poke a hole in the foil. Put them right back on the smoker. Upside down. And And we're gonna go just like that for around an hour, 45 minutes or so. We have a total of 5 cooking hours. It's time to see if these guys are done. The time you pull meat off is usually the most important thing you can do for any cook. This is our rack of ribs with no binders. What I'm looking at first is any pullback from the bone, and there's not a whole lot, so I'm thinking these need to cook a little longer, but let's find out for sure. To find out if your ribs are done for sure, between the bones, you take a toothpick, and now look closely. If it pulls back, if the top of the rib or any part of the rib pulls back as I'm pulling the toothpick out, they're not done. Okay, that was a little bit hard to tell, but I can tell you it pulled back a little bit. You can kind of see the meat pull back just a hair. If we're gonna sauce them or glaze them, now's the time. Okay, so what's in the pot is about a ½ cup of Stubbs sweet and sticky sauce. Then I'm gonna put on some Texas pepper jelly, rib candy, the peach cranberry habanero. Here's our mustard binder ribs, and these are the non-binder ribs. That's our ribs with the mustard binder. And this is our ribs with no binder. We're gonna put these guys back on the ribs with the foil open and kind of let them caramelize. So this is gonna take about 20, maybe 30 minutes at most. I'm gonna check them with the toothpick again. When they're done, we'll take them inside, let them rest for about an hour. So these are our mustard ribs, and these ribs have no binder. Let's go ahead and slice them up and see how it goes. This is the rib with the binder. Let's give this thing a shot. That's good. They just fall off the bone. I don't taste any mustard. They just fall off the bone. Wonderful. Let's try our rib without the binder. I'm just gonna be honest with you, I don't taste any difference at all, zero, between the mustard or the naked. I mean, the bark's the same, the color's the same, the smoke ring's the same. They're almost impossible to identify a difference if I didn't know which one was which. And that just backs up my point. I don't think binders are necessary for barbecue. They're just a wasted step. They are identical. They are amazing. They're great. No binder is what I get out of this. It's just not necessary.